Hey everybody, how are you? Ryno in Sacktown, Napes with you here on this Monday evening. Hope you're having a good start to the week. How are you, buddy?
I'm doing great. Yourself?
Doing well, doing well. Little hockey. It looks like the Panthers, barring a unforeseen comeback here in a couple of minutes by Edmonton, they're going to go to Edmonton, Alberta, up 2-love. So, boy, how about goaltending? Want to talk about Sergei Bobrovsky? You think goaltending matters in the NHL? Oh my gosh.
My goodness, Napes, what he's doing in this series is just incredible. I was telling you off the air, it feels like the Geico commercial where the walrus is in front of the net. Nothing's getting by,
Yeah.
especially against McDavid, Bridesitle. I mean, amazing players offensively.
All right. What was your reaction when you saw the report on Sasha Vezenkov of the Kings?
My reaction was, does it matter much? He's an end of the bench guy, but then on the flip side of that, that's just another hole the Kings need to fill with limited resources should the reports hold.
All right, here's a message. Do you think that the Sasha thing is just an isolated incident or a sign of a larger internal team issue? I think it's isolated. Okay, a couple of things here. When he was signed by the Kings, he wasn't brought in to be an end of the bench guy. Okay, so they miscalculated on him and they made a mistake on him, assuming that Vezenkov is not on the team this coming season. Can we admit that it would be a mistake if he's not here after 1 year?
Yeah, I think the degree of that mistake, though, because the public push that they made for him, making it known publicly that Mike Brown's going overseeing games, that hypes it up to the fan base indirectly.
Well, the Kings hyped it up too.
Right.
I mean, Mike Brown hyped it up. The Monty McNair hyped it up. So, in this sense, it was all hyped up. And I said, listen, I've been very consistent with this on day one. I told you I spoke to 3 different European scouts, and they all told me the same thing. Nothing special. That's what they said to me about Sasha Vezenkov.
Yeah, you've maintained that all along. I guess the question becomes, what were the scouts' thoughts, or did they mention anything on projected playing time or what they thought?
They all said he could play in the NBA, but he would be nothing more than a role player.
And that's shown. I mean, I guess to a degree, we both gave him incompletes for this last season, so we really didn't see much of him.
Yes. Now, at the beginning of the season, I don't think he was in favor of Mike Brown. And my point is, I don't think he won over the coach. And I think Mike took the attitude, well, I don't care who you are. You have to earn your time, and you haven't done that yet. And so he got a significant amount of DNPs. Then when he finally did get an opportunity, he got hurt.
Yeah, and you sprained 3 ankles and you only got 2. But to be fair, too, to Sasha, the times he got opportunities, it was like the break glass and pull in case of an emergency. There weren't many times where you brought him in and let him get into the flow of the game.
So, again, if the Kings lose Malik Monk, and if they don't have Sasha, regardless of where you projected him on the bench, you have a void in 3-point shooting.
Yes.
And that's something that Monty McNair is going to have to solidify in this offseason.
Yes, he does. And it's got to be a little bit of a different 3-point shooter, Grant. I think we saw last year, we can't just go for somebody that's a finisher. It needs to be somebody that can create. And as we've seen in the playoffs, that has been a big thing as well, especially in these finals.
Yep. So, again, that's the latest on the Kings front. We got the NBA draft coming up at the end of this month. We got free agency, and it's going to be an interesting period of time the next 4 or 5 weeks for Sacramento. Florida still up on Edmonton with 3 minutes left, 3-1. Edmonton is on a power play, so we'll keep that in mind.
Incredible how many penalties there were tonight, and power plays negated where it went 4-on-4. They definitely turned up that intensity level. There's no doubt.
They sure did. They sure did. Ian says, I wonder how much of the Kings hyping Sasha was what they actually expected from him as wanting something to hype up on Kings fans, didn't sour too much on turning it back in a relatively quiet offseason, blah, blah, blah. Listen, I don't think the Kings overdid it. I don't think they overhyped him. But, again, when you sign a player from Europe and you go after him, a player that's under contract, and you finally get that player to agree to a buyout and come over, of course you're going to hype him up a little bit.
Yeah, you got to do that. And I think that's part of the fan base, too. I don't think they didn't run it back because of Sasha hype. He wasn't going to fill that void. I mean, in fact, a lot of that, Grant, started before the draft even happened, started before free agency. You were hearing Sasha's name being named in the mix.
Florida has scored, so they're going to win. They're up 4-1 with 2:38 left. A guy that knows a lot more about Sasha and what he do is Baki, and he joins us from Serbia. Baki, how are you?
I'm fine. I'm watching this Florida team, and man, this is, I don't know, for me is big difference. I mean, they should win the series easy for me. Four
No,
one.
I don't think. No, they won't win it easy. But I mean,
I,
hockey.
I I think they will do it. I think they will do
Okay,
it 4-1. My prediction
okay,
is 4-1.
okay. What was your thoughts on you when you heard Sasha Vezenkov
Okay.
news?
We talked about Sasha in the beginning of the season. If you remember, before the
Yep,
season, 1 month we started to talk about Sasha,
yep.
and I was confused then, and trust me, I'm more confused now, uh, because I don't know if maybe you can answer the question. Who picked Sasha? Why Sacramento picked Sasha? And
Because they liked
what
him.
happened I mean, the guy, you said it's the end of the bench. I mean, he's end of the bench of the NBA, not only Sacramento Kings, because the guy is not for NBA basketball, if you ask me. I know maybe you, Ryno, have another view of it, but
No, I
for
don't.
me, Sasha is. I mean, for me, it's not, EuroLeague is not mine personally, but for me, it's embarrassing to have MVP from the EuroLeague, which is not something you should only see in the past, but you have MVP from the EuroLeague doing absolutely nothing in the NBA. Okay, he has maybe a low minutes in with Mike Brown, but okay, we see from Sasha. I don't know what we
I was
see.
hoping he could be a Nemanja Bjelica, but he's not even close to Nemanja
No.
Bjelica. Not even close.
Not even close, Grant. Not even close to any of the all those MVPs you have from. Bogi was MVP. Nemanja
Yeah,
was the MVP.
not even
Bielica.
close.
So we can go back and we can go up to 20, 30 guys, and he's not even close. I mean, maybe he's a good guy and not deserve to say something. I mean, we are not saying anything bad
No, I don't know him. Never met him.
him, but I'm really disappointed and disappointed of his game. I mean, uh, e- everything I saw from him in the previous season was standing here and there and waiting for some pass to shoot the three, and if goes it goes, if not, nothing happened. Maybe something with the defense, I hope. Nothing. I don't know. MVP from the Europe. I don't even know how he get the MVP award in Europe. I saw that. Okay, that was maybe the one of the worst season you can say in the EuroLeague. Which one he gets the MVP? But never mind. You are MVP from the EuroLeague, so you show nothing in the NBA. I mean, okay, it's a difference, but not that difference. If you see Sasha not knowing he's MVP from the EuroLeague, what will you say? Where did the guy coming from? He's coming from Aruba, from Dominicana. I don't know.
Baki, let me
What's your
ask
thought?
you. So the counter side to the argument is we haven't had a big enough sample size. You've watched him more. You kind of laid it out there. Has this been enough sample size to you to say that it doesn't work in the NBA across the board, or it just doesn't work in Sacramento?
I think it doesn't work in NBA. I mean, you must be 200, 300% more aggressive in the play. You if you don't put everything you have in the first maybe 10, 15 games, the coach will forget you. You're gonna be at the bench, and that's it. You remember, all the fans are hoping when the season are going game after game. Everybody hope, okay, Sasha will come, Sasha will do something, Sasha will go 10 points, Sasha will go 15 points. Never came, never happened. Remember, never happened. Maybe one game I don't even remember he had a game with 15 points.
It was though he basically kind of won that game for the Kings. They were not going the right direction. He came off the bench. I think it was second half, and I believe it was against the Thunder. Lit the Thunder up, and the Kings end up winning that one at home.
Ryno, that can happen to me, you, or Grant. One game is nothing. He didn't come to NBA to show what he got in one game. He came to help. He came to show something. He came to show what the MVP from the Europe means, but we didn't see a thing. That's how I see it. That's how I see it. I mean, I'm unfortunately he's the worst MVP ever to play NBA.
And that's a fair point. You're a good judge of that. I just wonder, and this is the other side of the argument in the back of my head, if he fell into the same hole that a lot of the other Kings fell into where there was not enough creating. Now you've got guys like Harrison waiting there for a shot, doesn't come. Keegan sometimes fell victim to that because when I watched tape on Sasha in the Euro League, he had a couple of really great point guards around him and they played off each other very well.
Maybe you didn't see before Sasha there was Micic from Charlotte. Now he's in Charlotte. He was on the way to Oklahoma in the beginning of the NBA. He played for Oklahoma but low minutes. Then he got to Charlotte, and now I mean the season was over for the Charlotte Hornets, but for the Charlotte, what did I say?
Yeah, you're good.
Okay,
Keep going.
Yeah, but he shows what is the meaning of the MVP, because Micic was 2-time consecutive MVP from the EuroLeague, and man, that guy, this is. I mean, NBA doesn't know yet. But I would love if you can remember and see the next season what will Micic. This is my prediction, 100%. Micic as the point guard, the starting point guard in the Charlotte is gonna be rocking. It's gonna rock.
All right, let me ask you a question.
Yeah,
you followed tennis a long time. Alcaraz at 21 years of age, is he the best 21-year-old men's tennis player in history? At age 21, has there ever been anyone better than him at age 21?
Never looked on that way, but okay, maybe. But if you ask me if he's gonna be the best player to break some records, and I mean, for all the respect for him, but I don't think so. I mean,
again, no one's ever accomplished what he's accomplished at age 21.
Great accomplished, and he's gonna win a lot more. But I'm just gonna remind you that
who's gonna beat him?
He beat Sinner, but Sinner was maybe at 70% physically.
Okay, but again, who's going to beat him at age 21? I mean, Novak's on his way down. He's 37. He's starting to break down. Novak will win a few more majors, Australian Open probably. But who's going to beat? I'm looking at the pipeline. I'm looking at the men's game. Who's going to beat him?
You know, I think there is a lot of young players. Trust me, I watched juniors Roland Garros, and great players are coming up. Trust me, great players. I was very skeptical about young players that are coming up from the last two seasons, but the things I saw the last 2 or 3 Grand Slams from the juniors, I mean, I think it's gonna be very, very interesting, even for him, for Alcaraz. But I don't see him. If you think he's gonna win because he's very young and he's gonna win next 3, 4, 5 season all the slams, I don't see it that
well,
way.
Not all of them, but I think he's going to win several of them.
Okay, he's gonna win the several of them, but not. You remember when all the press and all the world was ready to proclaim him as the next number one who was gonna be unbeatable, and didn't happen because after the
He's got four,
Wimbledon,
he's
the
got
guy
four
just
majors at
disappeared.
age
Yeah.
21. No one's ever done that before.
Okay, yes, the results are on the paper. That's right, but I think I'm looking for his game. He's
He
got
doesn't have a weakness. Where's his weakness?
weakness. Okay, his for me the biggest weakness is concentration in the point. So
Yep.
he's losing
But
it. Where
but
he's
but
losing,
don't you
he's just
agree that
passing it.
that's something that will get better? I mean, he's only 21. I mean, he was up 5-2 in the third set yesterday, and he shouldn't have lost that, and he lost 7-5. So I would agree with you, but that's something that I attribute to him being so young, and I think that will get better.
Okay, it can, but sometimes it doesn't happen. Okay, I wish him everything the best. I mean, the guy is great. I mean, he looks like a great guy, great person. So I like him a lot, and I like his technique. I like the way he's forcing the ball. He's putting it on the very early, striking the ball very early. Know how to enter the court, to play the
Okay.
game inside the line. So, but sometimes he just stuck. He just stuck, and something happened. So, okay, let's stick to that. He's very young, so the time will tell.
Thank you, buddy. Appreciate it, Baki. You have a good rest of your evening or morning.
You two guys. Thank
Take care.
you. Thank you for having me.
All right, before we get to some more phone calls, I want to tell you about New Works Plumbing. They've got a fixed few. They're available 24/7 for all of your plumbing needs and repairs. Just go to sackserviceplumbing.com or call the number on your screen. New Works Plumbing, they've got a fixed view. Again, sackserviceplumbing.com or call the number on your screen. I've been watching tennis since the 60s, and I've seen a lot of players come and go. I've never seen a player as good as this young man at age 21. I've never seen anyone at age 21 do what he's done on the court.
I watched him a couple of years ago before he was what he is today, and he was special. It's the mental part that Baki's talking about. And to your point, Grant, that can get fixed. That will come with seasoning.
Yep.
So,
all right, let's get to some more calls.
Let's do it. We bring Jay in on the conversation. Good evening, Jay.
What's going on, guys? How you guys doing?
Good. How are you?
I'm doing good. Wanted to touch on the Sasha situation. I talked to Ryan a little bit earlier, but I wanted to get your take on it too, Grant. And it seems like you spoke about it a little bit. I said personally, Sasha can walk, and I'll help him walk wherever he want to go. You know, I said that he's lucky it's not the NFL because the NFL takes a lot of dead cap for players. They don't put up with players like they do in the NBA. So he's lucky he's in the NBA because they don't tend to do that as often. But football, they're quick to do it. They will look at Jimmy Garoppolo. Oh, $20 million still. But yeah, I don't really care for him on the team, and I think great. Now we'll just throw him in a trade package. Me personally, I don't think he's worth a second round pick, not even let alone a third round pick, and there's not even a third round. So I'm not sure what we're going to get for him. But yeah, I mean, what's your take on that, Grant? I feel like we're going to be
the best thing for him right now would be go back to Europe.
Yeah, definitely. I agree with that. I told Ryan, I said, I've watched some of his highlights, and it's a way different ball game out there. The pace is a lot slowed down. It's a lot more fundamental, especially watching, the Kings play fast-paced, high-intensity defense with Keon and Fox, and then you got Monk and Davion, these speedsters on the team. It doesn't mesh very well, his style of play.
Not the end of the world.
Yeah, exactly. And again, the time,
I like
Jay,
that response.
The big thing here to me, the timing of it too, this could have happened later in the summer. The Kings have plenty of time now to figure out what's going on.
Yeah, if there's ever a time for that news to come out, I guess it's before the draft and before free agency starts.
I would agree.
Yeah,
But just remember, if you lose Monk and you lose Herter in a trade, which I think they will, then Monty McNair's number one priority this offseason is 3-point shooting. He's going to have to go out and get multiple shooters because without Monk, without Sasha, regardless of what you think of him, and without Herter, assuming that Herter's not there, you have no 3-point shooting.
Yeah, I agree with you. And I will give that to Sasha. He can shoot the three. He's made some big shots this season. But once again, those shots don't outweigh the the luggage he carries with him on the court. He's a foot, step too slow. This league is a lot different. I thought, like you said, I forgot who you compared him to, but I was trying to kind of compare him to a Bogdanovich type of player, and
He's not even close.
Yeah,
different.
and I
Not
think
even
that's
close.
probably what the Kings thought when they went and signed him.
I don't think so. In all honesty, I don't see how anybody could have looked at Sasha Vezenkov and compare him to Bogdanovich. But again, the reality is, teams, make mistakes sometimes. It's not the end of the world. He wasn't projected to be a top 8 rotational player coming into next season, so it's okay. It's not going to kill the team if he's not on the squad. And by the way, we're assuming that's going to be the case. He could still be on the team.
Great point.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, he could be on the team. Me personally, I'd rather not have him on the team. If you don't want to be here, then you don't have to be here. Type of.
Well,
like I said, it's not.
If he is on the team, he's going to have to. If he is on the team, he's going to have to repair some damage that's been left with the fans now. That's for sure. Because Kings fans don't like hearing that. And if he ends up staying on the team, he's going to have to handle himself in a public forum and win the fans back over. Because the fans don't want that.
Yeah, and like I said earlier, it's the NBA. So, yeah, you're right. He more than likely, instead of letting him walk, he's going to be on the team. Like, this isn't the NFL. But yeah, and then I wanted to touch really quickly. I don't know if you have more calls or not, but
go ahead.
The Dan Hurley situation, and
yep.
And what's your take on that one, Grant?
My take is he's in a great situation in Connecticut. He's got a championship caliber team coming back. He's making a ton of money with no expenditures because everything's given to him. Why go to an aging team that, even when you look at the roster objectively, has no chance of winning a championship as it is constructed now? Why go there? I mean, he'll always have an opportunity to coach in the NBA if he wants, and he'll go to a better situation when he's ready to go to the NBA. There's no reason to leave a championship caliber Connecticut team with all the bells and whistles to go to the Lakers right now. To me, it's not a good fit. That's my take. Ryno?
Yeah, I'm with you. I think you don't come into the Western Conference, number one. And number two, Dan Hurley is used to being the head of a program, touching everything. And guess what? You're going to run smack into LeBron James.
Exactly.
And you want to have that conflict, and especially your first coaching job, right? Because even if it doesn't work out or it's middle of the road, some people will say it'll tarnish his legacy. Like Nick Saban can't coach in the NFL, etc. So he can wait. If he wants that New York job down the road, I'm sure his name would likely be considered.
It will be number one on the list if he wants to go coach the Knicks whenever Thibodeau leaves. You're 100% correct.
Yeah, my take on it was, I mean, you're getting paid double the amount, and I talked to Ryno about it. And I'm like, even if I had $30 million in my bank account and someone offered me double to go take a job, I still would do it. But that's not everybody. Some people would be content with the $30 million in their account.
Well, you also have to look at his future. He's going to make a ton of money still in the future, and it's not like that's an opportunity that won't present itself again in the future in all likelihood. I mean, he doesn't have to worry about his future, and you can only spend so much money. So I don't think it's that big of an issue. I really don't.
Yeah, no, I see what you're saying. I personally would have taken it, though. And I get what you're saying with Le GM over there, LeBron, and it's his organization. But I feel like if you would win with the Lakers, you have an opportunity to further push, like the opposite take of what Ryno said in a different way. You have an opportunity.
If he goes to New York and wins there with the Knicks, he'll be in godlike stature in New York. So,
and there's if like Nick Saban,
he's an East Coast guy. He's not a West Coast guy. He's from New Jersey. That is very
true too. He is an East Coast guy. But like I said, Nick Saban, NFL didn't work out, but there's been plenty of worse situations. I mean, look at Joe Paterno at Penn State and the whole Jerry Sandusky thing. And Joe Paterno's still a legend in Penn State. So I think these coaches will come back from it. If he made it in like LA or he failed, it doesn't really matter. I think he's still going to be one of the greatest coaches.
The big question is, who's going to be the coach of the Lakers now?
Le GM, Le head coach, him?
Yeah, the head coach.
Yeah, no, Le head coach, like LeBron, like the LE
player coach.
Le head coach, Le GM, that's his name. Le head coach James. There you go.
Oh, seriously, who's going to be the head coach?
Oh, who seriously?
Yeah.
I mean, Honestly, he was the head coach. If you looked at Darvingham on those sidelines, he was pretty much quiet.
Who's going to be the head coach?
That's-
Who's going to be the
I
head
don't
coach?
have an answer for you. I mean, I hope it's not JJ Redick because he's a rookie.
Doesn't make sense to me.
What's the guy Borrego? He's all right. I saw what he did in
Yeah.
Charlotte. He's not. He doesn't blow me away, but yeah, nah. I don't know. Maybe Magic Johnson if he wants to get back at the organization.
Not a chance. No chance.
Who would you say?
Well, obviously Reddick's name's in there. I'm hearing the wild card is Jay Wright. But I don't think he would work in L.A. So we'll see.
I don't think anybody's going to work out
here. They're going to have to name somebody here in the next 7 to 10 to 14 days. That's for sure.
Yeah, I wouldn't. I don't think anybody's going to be.
I hope it is JJ Redick. Get him off TV. I don't care for him on TV as an analyst. So I'd be fine if he goes to LA. Plus, I think it would help out the Kings because I don't think they'd be very good.
I would be
okay.
shocked.
I agree with you. Yeah.
I'd be shocked if it wasn't JJ Redick. The Lakers got cake on their face now for doing this in the finals, and then Hurley, declining. And now if they don't go get JJ, it's going to look really bad because he was the name that was being.
I think if they get JJ, it's going to look bad. I think it's a lose-lose. What do they call it? No quid sum pro, whatever they call it in science. Long story short, it's a lose-lose. No one wins, no one loses. It's just whatever.
Well, that's in the short term. If JJ Redick goes to the Lakers and they play very well and win games, then it won't be a lose-lose. It will be a win-win. They'll say, oh, wow, thank goodness we didn't pay a guy $70 million. We got a coach that came in here and made us into a really good product. So, you don't know that yet.
Yeah, but also you got to take into account the podcast going on with JJ and LeBron. We see that they have a relationship that is on another level. How will the other players take that? Is it LeBron coaching or is it JJ Redick telling, what I'm saying? Is LeBron telling JJ what to tell the team?
The players will learn that very soon in a span of 2 to 3 practices. They'll know who's coaching. They will. I'm just telling you. I've been in the environment many, many times. The players aren't stupid. They'll know. And you're right. That's going to be a big issue.
Yeah, and that's the whole point. Like you said, they're going to know. It's not a matter of if they know. It's a matter of what are they going to do when they do know. Are they going to be receptive to it? Are they going to check out mentally from the season? Are they going to,
We'll see.
Yeah, it's not good for them right now. I don't think so.
No doubt. Jay, thank you so much for the call tonight, bud.
Yeah, thank you guys.
Appreciate it. I mean, you bring up some very good points, but JJ in the first meeting and in the first day of practice and the second day of practice is going to have to really solidify his credibility that he is the right guy for the job if he is there. Hey, Bennetts, don't forget about their happy hour sips and taste daily from 2 to 6. They have great share plates, really good prices on wines from $14 down, many at $6. Go to BennettsRestaurants.com. Check out the menu and make a reservation. Sacramento, Roseville, and the West Side Grill at the Blue Oaks Town Center. Prime Seafood and Steaks at Bennett's. You'll love it. That's BennettsRestaurants.com.
No doubt. Father's Day this weekend.
Yes.
Make reservations online. Beautiful private dining rooms, too.
Yes,
there.
Great place for Father's Day. Outstanding, great place. Absolutely.
Yep. Don't give me a present. Just give me a New York Prime medium rare right there on the cutting board.
Yeah,
We're good. We are.
You know what? Here's the deal. I always say this on Father's Day: don't give me a present and stay out of my way so I can watch the entire final round of the U.S. Open. That's all I ask for.
Oh, yeah. And that sometimes is a hard gift to give, Dapes, when you got the young ones. But if you get that is an awesome one.
All right, we got Carl watching from Manila. Haunted Horse wants to know, what is the weather in Manila? Well, what is it, June? That means it's hot and it's humid in Manila. Thank you from Manila. What time is it in Manila? It's got to be, what? Late morning? Right?
You know this stuff off the top of your head. Incredible.
Yeah, well, it's now Tuesday in Manila. It's Tuesday morning. So I would say it's probably, it's Tuesday morning in Manila.
What's the name of Manila's international airport?
It's the name of it is the worst international airport in the world is the name of it.
Wow,
it is
creative.
It is the absolute worst airport in the world, and there's not even a close second.
Interesting. What makes it so bad?
It's ancient. It is
Ah.
archaic. It is horrible. Honestly, it is the worst airport I have ever been to anywhere in the world for an international airport. It's
Nothing makes
11:30 in the morning in Manila. Yeah, it's terrible. I mean, it
noth-
is horrible.
nothing makes you more uncomfortable than looking at an old airport, looking at old planes, getting ready to go on an international flight. No, thank you.
The worst. Cody, you've been to the Philippines. Cody's wife is Filipino. Don't you agree? It's the worst airport in the world.
So if Manila's the worst, what's the best?
Oh, well, that's easy. Changi Airport in Singapore wins an award every year for the best airport in the world. I told you, whenever I fly into Southeast Asia, I always try to go through Singapore, and I always try to have the longest layover possible because it is the most amazing, incredible, super airport anywhere in the world. That is the number one airport in the world. Singapore, it is indescribable. And make sure you go to Terminal A and check out Jewel. There's nothing like it anywhere in the world.
What is Jewel?
Look it up. Google it right now. JEWEL Singapore. Just Google it.
All right, I'm on it. I'm on it, partner. You're telling me it's better than our big rabbit here in Sacramento?
It makes the rabbit look like a cockroach.
A cockroach or a cockroach?
Either or.
All right, let's see this.
Zach says Seattle Airport is the best. Seattle Airport is a ghetto compared to the airport in Singapore. It's a ghetto.
Oh, that is pretty cool, Napes. All right. Whoa, no way. You've got to be kidding me.
They only spent 1.4 billion US dollars on that terminal.
Holy crap. That is
and that's only
gorgeous.
one of the 4 terminals. So that's Terminal A. Next time you go through Singapore, go through Jewel. It's absolutely unfreaking believable.
Incredible. You would just think that was like a beautiful greenhouse, natural garden, waterfall, and then you've got the walkway behind it.
And the mall, they have a upscale circular shopping area, high-end stores, restaurants that go around the circumference of what you're looking at there. It is absolutely unbelievable. Jewel. I saw it for the first time last March, and I was just like, oh my gosh. I mean, it's unbelievable. So I had some carry-on bags. I didn't want to I check them right there. They watch them while you go check out Jewel and spend a couple hours there. It's unbelievable.
Incredible. That's the way to travel right there. There is no doubt about that. But SAC, at least we're getting some upgrades here and there. We've got our tram now, like most.
Ghetto my ass. I love that airport. I actually like the airport in Seattle too. I have a very good friend that owns a cigar kiosk there. But compared to Seattle, compared to Singapore,
nothing.
Come on.
Yeah.
Wake up, would you please? Wake up. Stop it already, would you? Comparing Seattle SeaTac to Singapore, don't embarrass the public watching if you don't like that. Don't embarrass us, would you please? I know I've been to all these airports, and trust me, it would be the difference between driving a top of the line Mercedes or BMW and driving the most inexpensive economy car that is available to mankind. That's the difference.
Love it. You're getting Napes fired up. You might just get a spur of the moment ranting. Haunted Horse, we don't need to hear from you from PDX. Hey, look, I knew an abbreviation, Napes. I'm learning.
Just helping you. But anyway, Singapore, well, that's an easy abbreviation, SIN. Manila, I think that's Philippine, MNL. So, and another really nice airport is Seoul, South Korea. That's ICN. That is a beautiful, beautiful airport. That also wins multiple awards. It's a great airport. I like Hong Kong's airport. I think it's fabulous. I like the way it's set up. I like the logistics, but nothing compares to Changi Airport in Singapore. Nothing.
Sorry if we've hit on this. What's with the sleep pods that you rent at some of these airports? Have you ever rented one of those?
Yeah, I did. I rented one in I can't even remember, but they're great. They're really good, very private. And where was I when I did that? I can't even remember off the top of my head, but yeah, they're really good. I highly recommend them.
It looks pretty convenient compared to we got stuck at Dallas Fort Worth with a thunderstorm, and they rolled out the cots for people. So much would rather have a pod.
Yeah, they're good. So I think the two most overrated airports in the world that win awards are both Tokyo. I think Narita and Haneda Airport Narita's better. Haneda wins a lot of awards. I think it's a very basic, restrictive airport, and I'm not a fan of it at all. Compared to Singapore or Seoul, doesn't compare in my opinion.
Interesting. You would know.
And I want to go to the airport in Doha. I hear that airport's phenomenal. The airport in Dubai is incredible, but they're building a brand new one, which is going to knock the socks off everyone. Oh, the airport in Istanbul. The airport in Istanbul is fabulous. Love the airport in Istanbul. Great airport.
Very cool. San Diego. They've been needing a new airport for a while.
My God.
That's been an ongoing debate.
That Southwest Terminal is the most embarrassing thing I've ever seen.
Terminal 1 straight to Sacramento. It was convenient though, because you had your own security check, and then you just had those two gates that are right there where you offload passengers.
Anyway, America, what's the best airport in the United States? That's a good question. You know, I'll tell you, probably went from the worst airport to maybe the best, and then that's LaGuardia. For years, it was a pit. It was horrible, and they spent millions and millions and millions of dollars, and that now is a top-flight airport. They've completely turned that around, so that would be on the list right now. I'm trying to think what else is a really good airport in the U.S., but that's one. That's a really, really – they did a nice job with that. Very nice job. Orlando is a great airport. They did a great job in Orlando. Great airport.
A lot of people coming in and out. Cruises. You a cruise guy? You ever do cruises?
Yeah, I love cruises. Love them. Love it. Absolutely love cruises. But I won't go on a cruise unless I have a balcony. I got to be able to sit outside and enjoy the beauty of where I'm at. So, yeah, I love cruises. Do you?
I've never been on one. I'm actually supposed to maybe go on one in 2026. So
you do it. Do it. It's fabulous. But make sure you have a room with a balcony. If you don't have a room with a balcony, I wouldn't go.
You got to have a balcony. There's actually rooms without balconies? What?
Oh, yeah. There's inside rooms where you stare at four walls.
No.
Well, those are the cheapest rooms on the boat. That you can go on a 7-day cruise for like $200.
Yeah. No, thank you. If I'm doing a cruise, I need to see the water from my bed. Period. End of story.
All right. Yeah. Haunted Horse went through Orlando last year for the first time. Airport is nice, but the TSA check was a long ass line. Go get TSA pre. All right. Go get TSA pre's. Won't be that long. All right.
There you go.
Do a Hawaii cruise. I haven't done a Hawaii cruise. I went to. I do love cruises though. They're good. Is this a sports show or is this just open forum?
This is open forum. This is what we like to do. We like to spitball. Hit us with
LAX is so bad. Newark is better. Newark sucks too. LAX is a bad airport. The international terminal is very nice. The Bradley International Terminal, very nice. Did a great job. And then the new terminal past that is also very, very nice. But yes.
Jay has I'm laughing at this. Jay has a cruise suggestion for me.
Oh my God, that's not funny.
Well done, Jay. No, that would be scary. Yeah, I like if I'm going to be in LA, I'm 100% John Wayne. I think John Wayne is the easiest to get in and out of right there in OC.
I agree. It's a good airport.
Yeah.
Yep. Very good airport. All right. So what else do you want to talk about? We have got an open forum here, our Monday night scrum. We got basketball in 2 nights. Do you think Dallas can win both games at home? Well, I know they can. Do you think they will?
I don't, Grant. The numbers, the way they're playing, the defense is what really got them there. Their role players were elevating guys like Kyrie to be able to make plays in situations they normally wouldn't. Assists this series, Grant, down 6 per game for Dallas, which is a huge problem. I just don't see it. The matchups too have been so bad, and Boston's defense has been excellent. How about you?
I don't see it. I don't think that Boston's a very good road team. I could see Dallas winning one of the 2 games. I don't see them winning both games. I just don't.
Yeah, and Dallas, that's actually they were 7-4 coming into this series on the road in the playoffs. Or actually, no, 7-4 now after these 2 games. So they were playing well on the road. So the secret sauce was there, and they missed out on 2 opportunities.
And they're 0-4 this year against Boston, 2 regular season, 2 postseason.
Yep, I thought they would have been aberrations because they were both before Dallas made the trade deadline acquisitions. But it's been pretty much the same story. And Drew Holiday. My goodness. Is he just a difference maker?
Yes, he is. He is a difference maker, plain and simple. He's the best 2-way player on the floor. The guy is special.
He's operating in space. He's operating in tiny space. And then Porzingis, I don't know what Dallas is going to do to guard him. He is still giving them fits, just shooting over the top of people.
You know, he injured his leg again in the end of the game, and he's having an MRI, but he said he'll be playing. But again, even without Porzingis, I see Boston winning 2 more games, maybe not consecutively, but you know, Dallas going to beat a team with Tatum, Brown? I mean, I don't, and Drew Holiday in 4 out of 5 games. No, they're not.
Especially not when they're shooting 24.5% from beyond the arc. This series so far.
Yeah.
It's got to come up significantly.
And Kyrie's been invisible in 2 games.
28 in 2 games. He's got to do more, but he's being put in spots that he wasn't being put in previous series. Now it's Kyrie, be a star. If Luka's not doing something, that's just not Kyrie anymore.
All right, so we've got that to look forward to. The Panthers are feeling very good about their situation. They're up 2-0 going to Edmonton for Game 3. They won by the score of 4-1. So, you know, listen, when you only allow 1 goal in 2 games, think about that for a minute. The Edmonton offense and their potent power play with Connor David, with Draisaitl, with everyone else, and they only score 1 goal in 2 games. Think about that for a minute.
It's huge. And that's what, and you started the show off. You didn't think, or you thought this game would decide who wins the Stanley Cup. Can Edmonton bounce back from 0-2 in this series now?
They can, but not with, but they won't with the way Bobrovsky's playing. He's playing too good. He's not going to just all of a sudden, you know, become a sieve, you know?
Yeah, in Edmonton to get here over Dallas, Skinner was playing above his level at times behind or in the goal. Now he's kind of missing some of those saves that he was making against Dallas. And I'd like to, or he needs, I should say, to step up a little bit, although he hasn't been terrible per se.
Baki wants to know if we're going to be watching Soccer Euro 24. It's around the corner. You're going to watch some games. I don't even know what Soccer Euro 24 is. I'd rather watch 2 dogs play hockey on my front lawn than watch that. So the answer to me is no.
2 dogs play hockey. Love it. Hey, what do you think about Caitlin Clark being left off the USA basketball?
I think it's a travesty in the sense of the United States women's team is going to win the gold. They always do. They're light years ahead of the second best team in the world. So they're going to win the gold. There's no reason to watch that team play. If you put Caitlin Clark on the squad, everyone would watch it. It would bring great notoriety to the women's game. It would also make the other players on the squad more quote unquote household type names. It doesn't make sense in any way, shape, or form. It's a bad move by the individuals that selected the team. They're brain dead.
It seems like it to me, if I'm going to take a step back, this is like part of the humbling process, Grant, because you're spot on with everything you said. It makes no sense to leave her off from a marketing standpoint. It's like, are you trying to slow the momentum of the women's game? And why would you? This is the time to grow it.
Again, there's no reason to watch the women's team because they're automatically they're going to win. They always win. They're so much better than everyone else. But why tune in? First of all, Brittany Griner's on the team, so I'm not watching it anyway. But I mean, I'm not watching it. Yeah. I wouldn't watch it even if Caitlin Clark was on the team. I don't watch the men's team play. I don't really watch Olympic basketball. It doesn't really do much for me, to be honest with you. I'll tell you what I watch in the Summer Olympics. I watch the track and field.
Yep.
And I watch the swimming. And that's pretty much all I watch. I don't really have it. And
say it.
I do like gymnastics. What, you don't
Okay.
like it?
I know I like gymnastics. I thought you
Yeah.
were going to say beach volleyball. I actually really enjoy that event.
Yeah,
men's
I
and
don't
women's.
watch I watch swimming, track and field are my two favorite things to watch. And then I do watch gymnastics. But other than that, no, I don't watch Olympic basketball. I used to,
Fair
a Haunted
enough.
Horse says I like Olympic boxing. I used to love Olympic boxing when it was boxing. Listen, I remember being, watching Sugar Ray Leonard in Olympic boxing. I mean, everyone in the country was watching that.
In some ways, are you surprised boxing is still around in general?
Yes, I am.
It seems like MMA would have knocked it out, and the lack of stars. You get your Mayweathers, De La Hoyas, they all cruise off into the sun.
Yeah. I don't really watch boxing that much anymore. I used to be a religious boxing fan. I always tell the story, I'll never forget it, when Ali fought Frazier in the Super Fight 1 at Madison Square Garden. I was in grade school, and I'll never forget, before the fight and after the fight, the next day, every single person, boys and girls, not just the boys,
Mhm.
everyone, teachers, boys, girls, everyone was talking about Ali Frazier. Everyone.
Incredible.
Everyone. Yep. So
It's the storylines that sell. There's no doubt about that.
absolutely. All right. Again, if you want to get in on the program, you know the routine. I also want to tell you about Sunrise Landing from Blazona Development. And all you need to do is go to CalusaSunrise.com. You can check out their various models. No Belarus, no homeowners at Sunrise Landing. Again, it is awesome across from the Calusa Golf and Country Club, close to I-5, Highway 45, Highway 20. It's all there for you. Just go to CalusaSunrise.com. Check out Sunrise Landing, the newest residential community in Calusa. Once again, that is CalusaSunrise.com and Sunrise Landing.
In the spirit of the Olympics, 10 on the read. Love it.
I always take a 10. That's good.
You got to do it. That is a hard read. There's no doubt about
it is
that.
a little. It's
It's a little awkward. You got to jump around.
Yes, you do. Yes, you do.
So you're thinking 5 for this series with Dallas and the Celtics?
Yep.
I'm kind of there with you. And I had Boston losing in 6. It's incredible. And Luka, he's still being held together with multiple injuries, downgraded to questionable, ended up playing. Are you a little bugged by how much off the court, or I should say extracurricular, is pulling his attention, especially with the fans during the games?
No. I mean, I expected that. Why are you?
A little bit. From Luka, I get the referees, the fans. You got to be better than that. And then the Boston fans. Did you see the video of the Kyrie doll? Did you get around to that?
No, I did not.
Boston fan had a blow up doll in a Kyrie Irving uniform after game 1 that they marched outside the arena, and a group of them ended up stomping and just beating the crap out of it, and it got a life of its own, as it should. Because if you're Kyrie and his family, it's like, can you even go to the game safely if you're doing crap like that?
Yeah, that's a little extreme.
It's too much. It's too much in this day and time. So,
yeah, it is a little extreme. I mean, just there are a lot of idiots that go to the games. There are and outside. It's just I don't know what to tell you. All right, again, what's that?
A lot of profit from those $20 beers, Napes.
Yeah,
they're gonna keep selling them.
Yeah, yes, they are. Yes, they are. It's fans that are trying to have fun, but sometimes, they don't stop and think about the repercussions of them having fun. Like, certain things should be out of bounds, like a little too extreme,
Yep. And it just seems at times with certain fan bases getting worse. Unfortunately.
Yes, certain fan bases are getting worse. No, there's no doubt about that. I'll tell you, I think that a lot of this is because of the camera phones, but the fights in the stands and on the concourses now at NFL games on almost every Sunday is extremely alarming.
Spot on. spot on. And people, yeah, like you said, pulling out your phone instead of breaking it up. And not to mention, is there a more dangerous place to get in a fight in a stairway? If you get knocked out and you hit your head, that's a very scary situation.
Well, it already happened. A fan in New England lost their life from a fight.
Great point. Unfortunately, it's a great point. But yes, it's awful. So, but again, it's the few that end up ruining it for the majority. It really is, unfortunately. Because Grant, you know this, some people go to games, they're not going for the game. They're going to stir the pot. They're going to get drunk. And those are the problem fans.
Correct. And it's really a shame. It's a shame. There's no question about that. All right, if you want to get on before we adjourn for the day, you can do so. We'll be doing shows at 8 o'clock this week. And of course, we'll be on after game 3 of the Mavs and the Celtics. So we'll be doing that. And then we'll see if Dallas can make a series. Obviously, if Celtics win game 3, this will be one of the worst rated finals that we've seen because there will be no reason to watch any more games.
And Adam Silver will have more heartburn. He was really hoping these playoffs would make up for the All-Star game with, you know, the lack of competitiveness, and conference finals games were disjointed, and now the finals off balance. Let's you want to bring Zach into the conversation?
Yes, let's do it.
Zach, what's up tonight, bud?
How you guys doing?
Hey, Zach.
I guess I wanted to. This is more towards Grant a question. I want to see his take on it because he brings it up a few times and how he doesn't enjoy the NBA like he used to. I want to get kind of deep in this conversation. I want to know why. I know you're mainly it's because it's mostly 3-pointers and layups. You know, that's the only shot, and I can see that a little bit. You know, the variety of shot taking is there's a little bit less variety than it used to be, but you know, I wasn't a big fan of seeing post ups or long twos and stuff like that. So I just want to see your side.
Why you weren't a fan of watching Shaquille O'Neal play or Hakeem Olajuwon or Patrick Ewing or I mean I can go on and on. You weren't a fan of that. You weren't a fan of watching Mitch Richmond and other guards post up. You weren't a fan of that.
But those are like the outliers. It's not like every team had like a bunch of post up players and stuff like that.
Sure, they did. Every single team had post up players. Every single team. Every team.
Jokic does it. You know, Embiid does it. LeBron does it.
Every team.
But I mean, there's a lot more post game and stuff like that. But
because you know what, you asked me a question, I'll answer it. There's too much quick shooting of the basketball. You see teams rushing shots when there's 18, 19 seconds left on the 24 instead of working a good shot. You don't see back to the basket type play. I don't like the way teams come down on 3-on-1s and 4-on-1s and give up an easy automatic layup and dunk to kick out to the corner. There's way too much 1-on-1. Even last night in the game, when you have critical possessions, you have players doing nothing but 1-on-1, taking bad shots. You have players that aren't good 3-point shooters just because they're open, taking threes instead of getting it to the right guy. I don't like the way the game's being played. There are just a lot of areas of the game that turned me off as somebody that's watched the NBA since the 60s. I think it's not nearly as aesthetically pleasing. I don't think it's very beautiful to the eye. And the number one thing, and you hit on this, there's just way too much 3-point shooting. Way too much 3-point shooting. It's not the way the game's meant to be played.
I think the one thing though, do you appreciate? I think the passing is at an all-time high. I think the ball movement is at an all-time high. Screening and just moving around the court is way more than it used to be. The one thing that I didn't like was a lot of the ticky-tack calls, and the refereeing was just way too soft. But I think they're trying to fix that a little bit, the last few months and stuff. So I think that's definitely improved. So I like that. But 3-pointers, there's way more different types of 3-pointers than before. You got the corners, you got the sides, you got the top of the arc, you got longer threes. So I think that's, to me, a little bit more exciting. I'm not a big fan of the long, you say, and you also brought up how there's like bad shot selection and stuff like that. I think in like the 2000s where you got Kobe and Allen Iverson, all these guys chucking out bad shots too. That's kind of similar as well.
I mean, yes, I thought Iverson did take an inordinate amount of bad shots. He's kind of a different. He's a hard guy to compare to because there really wasn't anyone quite like Allen Iverson in the history of the game. I mean, he was truly a one-on-one ball dominant player to the extreme. I think playing with Allen Iverson would have been very, very challenging.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, yeah, him and I'm trying to think of other people that just had like bad efficiency. But there was a lot of like mid-range shooters and stuff, which we still have at least a little bit now. You got the Devin Bookers, you got the Kevin Durant's who kind of take that mid-range game, DeMar DeRozan. So I guess that that part's a little bit alive. But
I do love watching Nikola Jokic play because he has every tool in his toolbox, and I like seeing the ball go into the post, and I love seeing passing out of the post, and he can also pass from the circle. But I love the ball movement, and I love watching Denver play because of the way they do pass the ball. And you said that assists are up. I don't think that the passing is better now. I think you're fooled by the analytics. I think the passing was a lot more creative, even back, for instance, when the Kings played in the early 2000s. The ball movement, the offense was much, much more creative than it is today. Much more creative.
Can I add this in really quick? And I want to know if this matters because I've heard this from fans that have watched the game since 60s and 70s. There was this level of kayfabe. It basically means you don't know whether or not the players actually dislike each other. As a fan watching the game, you thought there was real conflict. In this day and age, it's all bro-y and what's up, like they're all family. Does that take away from it a little bit, Grant, for you?
No, because I think all sports other than hockey are like that. You see it in baseball with the players joking, a runner and a first baseman, as they're holding each other on, telling stories, laughing. I'll never forget when I interviewed Goose Gossage on the driving range. For those that don't know, Goose Gossage was one of the best relievers in the history of Major League Baseball, particularly in the late 70s and early 80s. And the number one rivalry back then was the Yankees and the Red Sox. And Goose came in the one-game playoff at Fenway Park in 1978 as a relief pitcher, and he came in and threw 2 2/3. He came in the seventh inning, and I asked him about everything with the Yankees chasing the Red Sox that year because they were 13 and a half out, and he made a good comment. He goes, "Well, first of all, we hated them, and they hated us." And I said, I started laughing. I go, "Yeah, it's not like today where you see a runner on first and the first baseman joking." He goes, and he looked at me, he goes, "We hated them and they hated us." That part of sports doesn't exist anymore. Even in the NFL, you don't really see it. You see the other, I don't know if you saw this yesterday, but they showed Porzingis and Doncic next to each other, giggling and laughing during a dead ball situation. So if you're asking me if that bothers me, it used to. It doesn't bother me as much anymore because I've kind of accepted it as that's the way society in general is. It's the new generation. It's just the way it is. Zach, does that bother you?
Not as much. I do like a good rivalry. I do like, the two teams that play each other a bunch in the playoffs and stuff, and you get the headlines and things like that. We don't see that as much. I would like that just a little bit, but it's not like a huge factor. That's good. It's just it's just a small thing. I would like it. I think I do love it when there's players on teams that they don't like each other and stuff like that, and then you get to see them play, and then you kind of see them rough each other up, stuff like that. But it's not like it's not the most significant thing in a part of the games.
My favorite thing in sports is the Stanley Cup playoffs. I watch it religiously. And they beat the hell out of each other for 4 to 7 games. Okay, I mean it is hardcore. And at the end of the series, regardless of who wins, they line up at neutral ice and they go through the handshake, and it's genuine. And even the guys that beat the hell out of each other have a lot of respect for one another. And I think the word is respect. But during the games, there's no it's not there. And maybe I'm old-fashioned. I love sportsmanship. I love that. And you don't see that enough in the other sports. I think it's a great way of doing it. And here's the other deal. Do the players on a losing team like to do that? Not necessarily, but they understand it's the tradition of the sport that they play, and they are completely 100% on board. You never, ever ever see a player skate into the locker room and go, I'm not doing that, the way LeBron has done when he loses series. You never see that in hockey. Not once. You'll never see a player, no matter what, leave the ceremonial handshake line to go into the locker room and say, screw you. They don't do it. Never happens.
Yeah. In the NBA, you definitely see that more often where players kind of just go to the locker room and just go straight away.
Yep.
And don't really give the respect to the players and stuff like that. I do appreciate when the players, give a hearty handshake at the end and just say, good game and you guys beat us and we'll try to get you back next year.
Well, I also think that a lot of our athletes forget that they have millions of young people watching them, and they try to emulate them on the field and on the court and everything. And you're putting a really bad visual into a young person's mind, whether it be a young boy or a young girl. And that's another reason why I don't like that.
Yeah. I mean, back to the point. Yeah, I mean, you brought up like it's very quick paced and the possessions go back and forth so quickly. I can understand that a little bit. It is kind of nice just to like have that slow game here and there and kind of see the half court game and stuff like that. And that's why you bring up Denver. Denver kind of still plays like that. I think Sacramento kind of plays like that a little bit, but just on a faster pace where Sabonis is kind of the facilitator and stuff like that, a decent amount. And we're going through with a big guy and stuff like that, and he tries to do it out of the post or the elbow and stuff like that. So it's here and there. But I wanted to kind of see your take on more, expanding on why you don't like the NBA, the style of play.
I'll use Sacramento as an example. See, I disagree with you. I don't like watching Sacramento play because on nights when they aren't making threes, they don't know how to play any other way, and they just keep on shooting the threes, and that's a turnoff to me. I mean, how many times did we come on a post-game show, Zach, talking about, the Kings lost because their three-point shooting was bad. Well, boy, they scored 140 tonight because their threes were good. Yeah. I don't like the fact that, okay, so you asked me which leads me to another thing, and Ryno, I want to get your take on this. Here's what bothers me, and Boston is not part of this equation. Denver's not part of this equation. Too many teams in the NBA, Zach, and Ryno are one-dimensional. Yep. And that's what turns me off. They're one-dimensional. Teams in the past were multi-dimensional because they could beat you certain ways. The Kings can only beat you one way. That's what I've enjoyed about Golden State when they're even though they're a great three-point shooting team, they could beat you other ways. The Kings can't beat you any other way, Zach. They don't beat if they're not making threes, Zach, they're not going to win.
Yeah. Go ahead, Ryno.
No, I was going to say it's an excellent point. It's like you're not going to be able to pass the test unless you bring your study guide with you. That it's something to lean on. It's a crutch, the three ball. In some ways, it takes the creativity out of the game. It's the easy way out. So I'm with you. That is less appealing to me. But I will say what is more appealing is the more athleticism that we see. This year, I was blown away by Anthony Edwards. Freakiest plays I think I've ever seen on a basketball court.
I agree.
That bar keeps going because you never know what you're going to see next from somebody.
That's true. True.
Yeah. Basically, like you guys are saying, the NBA is basically three-pointers, penetrate and kick out, penetrate and kick out. That's basically how the game is. But I don't know. For me, at least, the long-range two-pointers are not as appealing. Like a three-pointer is just as appealing as a long two to me. Like, I know you brought up the post-up game, and that is, that was a little bit unique and stuff like that. But to me, it was just more of the Hakeems, the Shaq, players like that were doing most of the post-ups. I don't know, like Dirk Nowitzki had a good post-up game, with the fadeaways and stuff like that.
Game.
Yeah,
great.
Yep. Right there off the elbow.
Yeah, so there was some unique players like that, but I guess I know you said every player had, Vlade Divac was playing out of the post at times. There was a lot of that, which I do appreciate. I could see that part being more, more entertaining to watch. But yeah, I guess back like to what we said, the variety of shots is a little bit less than before, and it is very fast paced. And at least in the playoffs, though, it does become a little bit more of a half court game where it's just not running. Yeah.
Yep. So, thanks, Zach. Appreciate you chiming in as always. You have a good evening. Thank you very much.
Take care.
Zach.
You ready to do a couple more shows at 8 o'clock this week, my friend?
I can't wait. We're just getting started. A lot more to
And you
talk
got
about.
your show tomorrow at 2 o'clock. You got Jerry coming on tomorrow?
Yep, Jerry Reynolds Tuesday. Make sure you're there. We'll get your questions in. We'll talk finals and much more.
Yeah, so that's Jerry Reynolds tomorrow at 2 o'clock. And then Ryno and I will be back here at 8. Appreciate everyone. Thank you for your support. Good show today. Ryno, have a good night, my friend.
You too, partner.
All right, everyone. Thank you very much. Talk to you soon. Make sure you follow us. All right, subscribe. That way you know when the shows are coming your way. And also thumbs up. We'd appreciate it. Have a good night.